are we talking about addiction always in a negative way, or we can refer to good addictions that help people deal with life?
Yeah, I like the question. I like there is a spirit in this question. I don't know who is it, but I like their spirit. Usually, when we develop addictions, whatever that is, sex addiction, drugs addiction, women addiction, porn addiction, anything, it can be anything. Usually it's because there is something malfunctioning, it's not working properly in our experience of the world, let's put it like that. So one of the characteristics of addictions is that they delete, they erase, they foreclose. I use this word because some of you are familiar with Lacanian psychoanalysis, the pausing points in our lives. Okay, so they pause, they cut, they delete the pause. So there is no limit. So this is a problematic dimension of addiction, and not so much its object. Very, very generally now. So I wouldn't say that, yes, maybe an addiction to help others, it sounds that is good, but if you take in consideration what I said, that you are going to be burned, because addiction, what does it do? It goes beyond the limits. It destroys your structural position in the world. So at some point you will be burned. You are not going to be able to help others. And when that happens, then the body will start paying the price, even if it's an addiction of helping others. So that's my response to it's a beautiful question.
Thank you very much. Penny?
Yes, it is a good question. In as much as we take something up as an addiction, because here we don't have the approach that we're judging any substance, okay? Because addiction and the object can relate to any substance, even socially acceptable ones. In fact, certain addictions, if you like, are induced. Somebody's mentioned food in the chat. We'll talk about that again later, but essentially food is a socially acceptable and even induced addiction. In the sense, it's like in Greek you might say "siobajifai," shut up and eat. Okay, that means that something that is more desirable is being dissuaded, and the subject is given recourse to food, and that's socially acceptable. So this is not a matter of something that is judging the object, but in as much as something is an addiction, it implies a compulsion. And it implies a compulsion where the subject would maybe prefer to find some other way to approach or respond to the challenges in their life. And in as much as it encroaches on the freedom and restricts the freedom of the subject to, explore more creative solutions or whatever, then we appreciate that it's the best someone can do until they figure out something better. So it has a positive function in the sense that if the subject could do better, they would do better. But we also hold open the possibility and for somebody to find some other way, in a way that they find satisfying. Because if you're collapsing to an addiction, then it's narrowing your world and it's narrowing your scope for satisfaction. And actually, no less so if you have somebody who's a fetishist, for example, and only can be excited when a woman has long hair, and he starts following young ladies with long hair because that excites him. There's nothing wrong with it. Okay, it might get into trouble, but that's less the point. The thing is, there are many more interesting ways potentially for that human being to find satisfaction, enjoyment, excitement, adventure, whatever in the world. But they're stuck on that. And it's a narrowing of one's world. So in that sense, the way we're taking it up is, okay, we don't judge it, but there maybe can be better ways.